What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. Give you a quick overview of some of the data points, what really moved it, and what shorts did. Before we get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. SoFi closed 1.8% in the red. Did start off with a complete bang, a nice spike to $16.12. So that was the high. And then it kind of reversed a low of $15.14. So kind of all over the place, polar opposites, largely linked to the technicals. So I'm going to go over that in a second. But no actual news from the company itself, no SEC filings. In my pre-market video, I did state that a lot of stocks were just going to kind of get dragged down, majority second half of the day, especially paper hands and whatever else linked to CPI. So CPI is coming out tomorrow, and that should be a fun old time. This is the current estimates, so nothing really crazy, but generally, a lot of people are going to be correlating this with potential rate cuts for the upcoming December meeting, which is going to be next week, I believe. So should be a fun old time for that. But aside from that, though, shorts. I think shorts were the big thing for today. And so today, shorts did return 6.2 million shares. 12.43% of the free float is being shorted. So it is moving towards my target. Like I stated, I think anywhere from around like 10 to 11% is going to be where it lands for the most part. And then most likely that will be their next upcoming earnings. But 132.41 million shares overall are being shorted. You are still seeing that broker very desperate, trying to drum up business. It is negative, so they're trying to pay people to do that. But today, this was changed because of this right here. So 2 times per month, the NASDAQ does disclose the actual true amount of shares being shorted. It's always delayed, so they reported it today. And so as of November the 29th, there was 136.3 million shares, works out to be 12.8%. So just generally the last several reports, ever since August, shorts have been returning. So pretty kick-ass if you ask me, but of course, with SoFi to be red today, you did have a little bit more institutions selling. And so this has been something I've been stating over the last several videos. And it is what it is. I think a lot of analysts are starting to just say, hey, we're kind of overdue for a pullback. A lot of stocks are just way too high, too much, too fast. And I think SoFi could be grouped in that, even though SoFi's technicals are somewhat better than majority of other growth stocks. I think it's just getting dragged down with that. But these are all the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000 today. A couple big ones, 1.13, 4.99 million, and then a lot of transactions after hours. There was a big one, 18.5, 1.01 million, and a lot of other ones right here. So essentially, that could be shorts as well, covering and whatever else. But moving over to options, 25 million in calls, 5.6 million in puts. 47% of all the options being done were optimistic in nature. A nice little push higher right here. There was 526,000 between 250 and 255. So that was relatively optimistic options, and so I assume that's correlated with potentially it's good CPI tomorrow, last minute hedge. And then just generally going right over here, it's the dollar value has been fairly good. So today the total premium 30 million, yesterday 35, 37. So today was kind of in line with that. And one thing that I generally have been really looking at is the put/call ratio. Oddly, I just hit refresh and this did disappear, but it has been improving. So meaning there is still a lot more optimism for the foreseeable future, despite SoFi actually going down. So I see that as relatively good. And so no different than today, you have a lot of money, SoFi closing in the red still, but you have a lot of optimism because I think people know what SoFi can do in the foreseeable future, and they don't want to make the same mistake, especially when SoFi was like around $7. A lot of people bought long-term calls. Those people made a lot of money. And essentially, even SoFi, looking at the volatility, is still very low. So the market doesn't really truly see that much upside. So if you are very bullish, you can definitely look at that. Research options, obviously, you do your own due diligence, all that fun jazz. But of the call options that were purchased, still a consensus for it to be above 1750. So a lot of optimism for that. Bears, though, are getting a little bit more bearish, if that is a good way to phrase it. So they're essentially seeing for it to be kind of sub 1450. So still more upside, though, is what I do anticipate or kind of analyze based on this information. And as of right now, with it at $15.29, it is trading between this pivot and this S1. So a little bit more consolidation, which I'm going to go over that in a little bit, but it is what it is. Just a lot of analysts are saying even in 2025, there's going to be two major cycles, a severe pullback and then a secondary, I guess, Santa Claus rally. I don't know why they're already starting to talk about 2025 Christmas rallies and all that fun jazz, but I think it's just analysts are trying to forecast. You have, I believe it was Citi just raised their S&P target to 7,000 as well. So you have a lot more analysts and just institutions very, very bullish. And honestly, can't really blame them. A lot of the data that's been coming out has been absolutely on point to justify that the finance sector, SoFi, is going to completely flourish. And if there is a 25 basis point cut for the next meeting, for the Fed meeting, that's just going to increase the buying power coming from consumers, and then everyone is going to be happy. So that will be a huge catalyst, and I don't feel that the market has actually priced that in as of yet, so hopefully that does come to fruition. But nonetheless, 15 is going to be that next strong support. Kind of bounced off of that general area today, so 15.14 was a low. So going into the next couple of trading days, definitely watch for that. Flip side, $15.83 and then $16.50 are going to be the next strong target / resistance points. And then right above here is that $16.61, so that's the 52-week high. So yeah, SoFi is consolidated a little bit, but I do not see SoFi being down and out whatsoever. Looking on the actual chart itself, yeah, it's below the ALMA. One key one to really watch for, though, is this super trend. So $14.37. If it does break below that, then the algorithms are going to really work against SoFi. So it could really add a lot of selling pressure based on that. But MACD started to invert, so that's not necessarily the best. And given all the recent consolidation, SoFi is considered rather oversold. You have a bearish deviation as well, though, so the orange line above the blue. But again, I think just it is healthy for it to kind of consolidate, and then that way it'll build a strong support level, strong base, and then from there it can just trend up. And then this is where you're seeing kind of the little broader weakness, if that makes sense. Here, I'll move that so you can kind of see it a little bit better. So right now it is below the ALMA, and looking at the 1 month chart, it is below, looks like the 100 as well as the 50-day moving average. And SoFi, the 50-day moving average is definitely a very big thing. Historically, when SoFi does get above that 50-day moving average, it does result in like a 10% push higher. So in the short term, definitely watch for it to kind of regain and stay above that. But like I said, I think it is natural for SoFi to really just consolidate with the broader market. There was one new rating that did come out. It shows yesterday, but I believe it came out on Friday. But with me not doing SoFi videos as much as I would have liked, didn't really bring that up. But you had a downgrade sell $12 target, Bank of America, and the analyst has a 65% success rating. So honestly, $12 is a lot better than what it was. Still, the two amigos, so Compass Point and also Wedbush, have yet to give any ratings, so kind of disappointed for that. Even Goldman Sachs, Piper Sandler, all of those individuals did participate in the last earnings. So it's kind of weird the fact that they did participate, but they didn't give a actual rating. So I think that's a big FU to these analysts, just that they're too wrong. But beside the point, let me know your thoughts on SoFi in the comments. Like in reality, I think just the market is just doing what the market does, just last minute fears. But bigger picture, SoFi is really on a very good path. One thing that they have done recently, though, meaning analysts, is they've actually raised their recent targets. So this is the earnings per share estimates from analysts. So a lot of them have started to raise the highs. So even for Q2 2025, the year-over-year growth is 615.8%. Then you have a lot of triple digit growth things there. And again, looking at the quarterly viewpoint, this is the actual revenue. So you're seeing constant double digit growth from the revenue front. So estimated Q4 2026, 927.93 million. And given SoFi and everything that they've been doing recently, it is fair to assume that they're going to be having multiple different revenue sources prior to this point. So most likely this could actually double. It might be a little bit premature to kind of talk on Q4 2026, but I think SoFi is on a absolute warpath, and they're very smart, and they're kind of mitigating risk, strategic revenue sources and everything. So I really like SoFi. I haven't really bought any actual shares. What I've been doing is just selling puts every single week, and if it hits, then I get more shares. And so I'm happy with that. So far, I haven't done any weekly options on SoFi. Probably going to be targeting maybe I'd say the 14.50 strike price just to collect some premiums. That's if it does kind of pull back. But yeah, that's basically what I'm doing. Give yourself a shout out if you have been buying, if you've been selling. One final thing I do want to share with you though is I launched a Patreon where I'm giving buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many hits so far, so pop over there to take a look. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.